Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Purpose Driven Live Sports Line back here for another NBA video. So, last night, we saw the Raptors and 76ers play, and then we saw the Blazers and Nuggets play. Now, I was wrong about the Raptors and 76ers game. It was in Philadelphia, and I think there was some point to where I did think that Philadelphia could win. I just didn't believe so. Apparently, I was wrong again, because I trusted the Raptors, which I don't believe I was wrong to. I think as the series went on, to me, the Raptors proved that you could actually trust them and they were, building towards something. But once again, they lose by 11, 112, 101. And then you have Ben Simmons, who had 22 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. He didn't have a turnover. Joel Embiid had 17 points, but he was a plus 40 in the plus minus, which means the team was very good when he was on the floor. That's what that means. Kawhi Leonard, to me, when you're in Toronto's position, you have to close a team like Philadelphia out, because at this point, really, we don't really know who the pressure is really on. Because if Philadelphia loses, nobody's really going to say that we expect them to get this far, especially to the conference finals. I didn't pick them to get to the conference finals. I didn't think they could get past Toronto like that. But if Toronto loses, this is going to be a big upset to me, just because Toronto has the matchups. They have the deeper bench. They have the guys who can come off the bench who can make plays. But still in this series, you keep stressing that those guys aren't coming off the bench and making plays. You have a guy in Fred VanVleet, who I've talked about, has just been a no-show. And it's really frustrating to even talk about this guy, because why even waste our time, right? And then you have Serge Ibaka, who could have made a bigger impact and just really hasn't done that yet in this series, really. I don't know. Kyle Lowry, to me, he's a hit and miss. He's kind of like that wild card where he can have a good game, or he can have a really bad game, or he could just be average. So I can't really blame Kyle Lowry here. It's just Kyle Lowry. That's who he is. Kawhi Leonard, I think he really has a lot of solid games, and he has really exceptional games. To me, he doesn't have bad games, and I haven't seen him have a bad game in this series. I think it's just to the point where a lot of times he just isn't getting a lot of help. Just as plain and simple what it is. And then to me, those Kyle Lowry, Danny Green, guys got to just step up more. And I mean the guys off the bench, Norman Powell, he's got to make shots. Fred VanVleet, he's got to start knocking down threes, man, because I just haven't seen him score the ball. And that kind of worries me, because where is his confidence at? How is he going to make this transformation this late in the season is my thing. And then for Philadelphia's side, to me, they have nothing to lose. So to me, if they play like this again, they could potentially beat Toronto up in Toronto. They could beat the Raptors in Toronto. That crowd is going to be very loud on Sunday, because the Game 7 is on Sunday. I don't know. My prediction is, because I really don't want to make one, because both these teams have really just kind of jacked up my nerves, because I just don't trust either of them at this point. I'm probably going to have to go with Toronto, just because they're at home. I think Kawhi Leonard's going to make a lot of big plays in Game 7. I'm not sold on Philadelphia, and I won't be. So until Philadelphia proves me wrong, they have to beat Toronto, and then they have to beat Milwaukee. And then whoever gets to the West, which I think to me is going to be Golden State, regardless of any Kevin Durant injury, they're going to have to win the chip for me to be sold. And I just don't see them. To me, they're too inconsistent still. So they're young, they're still maturing, and to me, they're maturing at a slow rate, which is really weird to watch. So just look out for that. But for the Blazers and Nuggets, I told you guys I thought Blazers would win, and I was right. They were at home. The bench in the second quarter was really the turning point. Rodney Hood had 25 points, helped out Dame, who had 32. And then CJ, I think CJ had 27. So, man, having those guys each score at least 25, I said if CJ and Dame each have 25, that could be enough to do it. But then they didn't start out the game well. But then you have your bench come in, and then they not only turn the tide, they help you extend your lead. That was incredible. I was really impressed with what I saw from Rodney Hood. And really because from his days in Utah, we've seen him kind of go on a downward spiral. And then he's in Portland. I think this is the perfect place for him because you could come off the bench and kind of help out CJ and Dame by just making shots. He can post up because he got a really good post fade. He's a really good three-point shooter, and he's got a really good mid-range game. And he's actually a solid defender. He doesn't get blown by a lot because he has great length. He's got good size. So I really like the moves that Portland made. Just bringing in Enes Kanter, great backup option. He's the guy who could start for a lot of teams in this league. Also bringing in a trade Rodney Hood. See, they made great moves at the right time at the trade deadline, after the trade deadline, at the waiver wire. So yeah, Portland did a great job. Nikola Jokic still had a big game. I'm going to give him props for that. Like I said, Denver, they've improved so much in their fighting in games. They're not giving up. They still did lose, I believe, by double digits by 10 or something. But at no point in the game did you ever see them give up. They just, to me, Portland just kind of had the momentum going. And sometimes in games when the other team has momentum, then you can really do to stop it. Damian Lillard finally had a great game from three. He was knocking down his long-range shots. CJ was hitting big shots. He hit that big dagger kind of fadeaway three-ish kind of fade. Not too much of a fade. But he hit that three. It was incredible. So it was a really fun game to watch. It was pretty much back and forth. Midway through the fourth, it was Portland did take a 14-point lead at some point. I think they did go up by much more. But Denver, they allowed them not to pull away too much. So Denver did a great job of staying in the game to a certain extent, but Portland just kind of had this gap that was, to me, they weren't going to come back and win this game. So, but that's going to do it for this video. This was my breakdown on last night's two games. I'm going to review this real quick. I am picking Toronto to win in Game 7, and after what I saw Portland do, I'll pick them in Denver. And they also win in Denver in Game 2. So to me, that bodes well for them going on the road and having to fight. That could bode well and help the Blazers. So I'm picking the Blazers and I'm picking the Raptors. Those are my picks for Sunday night's Game 7s. Thank you guys for watching this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video.